Hello and welcome to the Power of Charms interview series. My name is Kay McDonald. I'm your host, and today I have author, speaker, coach Cheryl Garrison. We have so many exciting things to talk about today because at Power of Charms, we call this the Year of the Woman. And Cheryl is all about helping women grow, find their purpose, but especially focusing on those women over 50, which I happen to fall into and most of my friends do. So I can't wait for Cheryl to share her wisdom with you. Cheryl, let's start by talking about your latest project. You just launched your second book and it's on Amazon. Tell us about that book. It was a collaboration, right?
Yes, in 2020, right in the smack dab of the pandemic, I got this idea to talk to women about sharing their stories. Part of being 50 something, which is the name of my company, 50 something lifestyle. But a part of that journey to 50 are all the stories that we've gathered, all the life we live, the things we've been through. And I heard so many different stories, and I knew that they needed to be put down in a book form. So the first book had 8 people, 8 authors in the book, and it became more of a collaboration project. And so book 1 launched in August of 2020, and book 2, which is the same, Becoming 50 Something, book 2, it's inspiration and empowerment for women over 50. This one just launched on 1/22/22. And we just had our launch on Saturday, and it was virtual. And it also includes stories of women who have been through domestic violence, who have overcome abuse, who have overcome health issues, who talk about how they've been able to change their careers in their 50-somethings, and those who have been tasked with caregiving and the effects that it has on us as adult children. And so this book is filled with so many wonderful stories of women overcoming the things that they've been faced with once they hit that big 50 plus.
Well, and there are lots of challenges. I've got so many girlfriends and myself in this age range over 50. One of the challenges that I have experienced with a lot of my friends is that they have all this great experience. I mean, they might have been CEOs of companies, and people are not finding them desirable to hire for some reason. They're looking for younger folks, even though now we have a labor shortage. What do you think about that, Cheryl? I mean, is that providing more opportunity now for the gals, or is there still kind of that stigma?
I still think the stigma is there. The opportunities that I've seen among my friends who are also in their 50-somethings is that the kind of opportunities that they're getting are really low-paying jobs that you could do with a high school degree. And because they either need the money financially because their 401 didn't do what they thought it was going to do in their retirement, or either they just want to get out of the house. But they're finding that the opportunities are slimmer. But I'm constantly reminding them that ability security is so much more important than job security, because the things that you know to do can lead you to having your own, I call it being your own CEO, the CEO of you.
I love that. Well, ability security, that's a phrase that you basically have coined, right?
Actually, the phrase came from my husband, who's also very much so an entrepreneur. We've had businesses ever since we've been married. But he taught me in talking about that phrase that it's more important that you hone in on your skills, because people cannot take skills away from you. They can lay you off on a job. And I'll give you an example. In my 30s, the way I became an entrepreneur, I was a technical writer. And I had moved up in the corporate world. I was managing a team of writers, just had a baby. I was in like 32. I just had my second child. I was going to be this big, I was going to go right up to the top. And I got laid off. But the one thing they couldn't do was take away my skill as a writer. So what did I do? I became a consultant. I made more money making my own hours, selecting the jobs I wanted to do, and working from home. And so they could take away the dignity of being this great corporate employee. They couldn't take away my ability to write and be able to do the things that I was able to do.
Well, and how prudent and wonderful that you were able to recognize that and like rise above it and do your own thing. I think so many people have barriers. They have their imposter syndrome, or they just don't feel like they can do it. But you actually coach women on how to do this, right? Like, how do you? I think so many women have so much ability in all different areas. I mean, the fact that women raise children, that is a whole job that creates
that in itself,
right?
Yeah.
And then they may have had other jobs throughout their lives. Coordinating projects, that just kind of comes with being a wife and mother, but that is a major skill set.
It is. And I find that in my coaching that we start at confidence, because it all begins with how confident are you in what you know and what you can do, to where you can strike out on your own and do it. And so we start, before we talk about anything regarding how to run a business, how to set up a bank account and do a business plan, how confident are you? And so I have a program called Bring Her Back, and it's a confidence building class that really works on getting out of your comfort zone and finding that confident person that you were in your teens and in your early 20s.
You weren't afraid.
Right, you weren't afraid. And the confidence, I love the confidence of children, because they will pick up the most expensive gadget in the world and try to work with it. And if they break it, they don't care.
Oh, that's
so it's confidence and overcoming that fear. And if you can get past that and see the wonderful person that's inside with all those abilities, and be secure enough to step out, there are people out there who really need what you have.
And you just need to identify what your passions and your strengths are. I bet you probably have a whole process to pull that out of people, right?
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of mindset training, a lot of exercises, and finding that thing that's your passion and your purpose.
Yeah.
But it really starts with your mindset.
Right. And it sounds like
real believer.
Everybody that I know could use some sort of confidence building course.
Oh yeah.
I still times, right? Even no matter if they're super confident, we all.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are times that I know I go, oh please, someone come help me.
I know. Really. I can't do this. Yes, I can. Oh my gosh. So in the current climate that we have been experiencing during the last couple years with the pandemic and everything, has that opened up new ways of doing things for women? Like, it seems like there's lots of more budding entrepreneurs and everything out there. Tell us some of the things that you're seeing in the world as far as like technology and connecting that are allowing women to really spread their wings at this time.
Well, I think the greatest thing that happened, and when it first came out, especially Zoom, video conferencing and live streaming, when it first came out, it was all about meetings inside of a corporate building. Or if you were across town in the same business. That's really what it was developed for, conferencing within the same entity. But because when the pandemic came, we found ways of communicating conferences, and we are communicating birthdays and everything else online. And so once we were able to do that as a business, I've been able to put my trainings. I do a mastermind online. We just had our launch on Saturday. It was virtual. And I do all of my interviews just like you, doing your interview. And it's opened up the ability to do business without having to, in this pandemic, having to be in person if you don't want to do that. And it also gives you an ability to be global. You can reach people all over the world.
I know. Isn't that amazing, really?
Yes.
In the last 2 years, all of a sudden, yes, you and I are both in Phoenix, but we have clients anywhere. I mean, I have clients in the British Virgin Islands. I have clients in New Zealand. I have clients from Canada. And yeah, I mean, I used to do it pretty much virtually anyway, but now it's easier to talk to them,
right,
and connect. And I think think of the money and time that we're all saving by and wear and tear on our 50 plus bodies, traveling and doing all that stuff. And we can just get online and do this. It's really opened up a whole new entrepreneurial frontier, hasn't it, Cheryl?
It has. And I have several friends who have taken their businesses virtually. And one in particular, her income has tripled, because it used to be in a hotel in a specific location, and people had to get there via airplane, renting hotel rooms. And now they can get the same information online and stay home. And they really are willing to invest, because now they don't have to spend the money on a flight and spend the money on food and hotel and lodge, And so her audience has tripled because of that.
Well, yeah, and that's just amazing. I have found that I can remain connected to people a lot easier than before. You have several groups that you belong to, and friends and circles that keep you connected. Can you tell us about those? I think that's so important.
Well, I do have a group online that we just communicate via Facebook grouping, but I also do a virtual coffee with the women in my network. And we used to do it every week, and we would all come together, no agenda, just really sharing and staying connected, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, when the whole world was just shut down, and it kept us connected. Now that there's more people are getting out more, and because of being vaccinated and the world just opening up, we do it once a month. And we're able to just sit and connect, talk about our grandchildren, talk about our businesses. I can tell you that in this book, 3 of the ladies in this book came out of my coffee group.
Oh my God.
And so it becomes a networking opportunity, even though it wasn't designed to be that.
Right.
Yes.
I love that. You and I met, I believe, through a mutual author, and you were interviewing people for your compilation books.
Right.
How we met. And so then I do my compilation book. So it's interesting how we're kind of on a similar journey. One of the things that I love to do when I'm interviewing women is I love to hear about, obviously, your professional life, but I like to know a little bit about your personal life too. And I asked you before we started talking today if there was a symbol in your life that was significant to you, because we turn symbols into charms,
right.
Our charms.
Yeah.
And you shared with me that it's a treble clef. So I was like, okay, tell us why. Give us a little insight into that.
Well, since I was 8, I played piano. And my dad was a pastor in a church. And so at 8 years old, I played my first hymn in church. And from there, I am a church musician for my church now, 2 Sundays out of the month. I play for our choir in our service. And I've been doing that since I was 8 years old. So the treble clef has a lot of significance, because it's that part of me that I get to do that separates me from work, or when I was in school. It's that thing that's just me, and that brings me my own self-satisfaction. And so I'm one of those church musicians.
Oh, but I love that, because we all have different aspects in our life, and there's symbols that are around us all the time that remind us of things that we love. And if we surround ourselves with those symbols, like a treble clef charm or treble clef picture, or just, sheet music framed or something like that. I mean, it's just important to I think, develop our personal sides and cherish those as well. It's easy, especially as an entrepreneur, to work all the time. I know I have had to really try and delineate work time from personal time, because it all kind
Yeah.
of flows together. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're doing what you love, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing that with us about your specific symbol that you love. So tell me what's in the future for you. What are you working on this year?
This year, we're going to do another book, another
Are you
collaboration book.
three? Okay.
Yeah, we'll do number 3 sometime in midsummer. We'll do that. My goal is to do 1 or 2 books a year.
Excellent.
And just let as many women as possible tell their stories. Secondly, I do have a mastermind. It's an 8-week mastermind on how to start your business, grow and start a business. And my next mastermind is starting in February. And I really limited to about 5 women, and we really work deeply for those who already have a business and giving them the strategies to grow, and those who don't have one and how to get it started and put the strategies together so that once they launch, they can be successful. So that starts in February. And other than that, just really, I have started a publishing part of my business. Publishing the collaboration books has led to me publishing other women's books. Actually, at the end of the year, my company published 4 books.
Wow.
And so, and we only focus on women over 50 who want to tell a story or who love to write short stories. I really try to keep my target market in that 50-something market. Because I just believe I met so many women who wanted to publish, and they were taken advantage of, I'll put it that way, by people who first of all charge them an exorbitant amount of money to do it, and also at the end they lost the rights to their own books. And so my thing is, in your 50s, to be able to share your story and tell it and have your book to share with your friends, or if you're in business, to share with your clientele, but also to keep your own copyright, you know, and
that's so important.
Right. And so, so that's another thing that I'm doing this year, publishing books for women over 50.
Well, and it's just a natural progression. You know, it's funny how these things happen. You probably never thought you'd be doing that, and now
I did.
Here you are. But it's good to know that, and I'm glad that our audience has heard that too. And if so, it's great that you're starting a program in February. Are there any open spots if people are interested?
You know, I just really started yesterday with putting out the first advertisement for it. So I really am just starting promoting it.
Oh, good.
So it is open. If they're interested, it's available. I'm trying, you know, I always used to try to have these things around me, but if they go to 50somethinglifestyle.com, they can connect with me. Okay. And I can give them the information on how to sign up for that program or get information about it.
Okay, and then so good. So your website is the best place to find everything about you. It's 50. Yes. It's the number 50. somethinglifestyle.com.
Yes.
And then also are there links to your books on there as well?
Yes, they are. The latest book, we're just getting ready to upload it, but all the other books are there, and the publishing site, Becoming 50 Something Publications, can also be found on that site.
Well, that's so exciting to know, and it's just so great to connect with you, Cheryl. You're such a inspiration to women over 50 wanting to start their own businesses. And it's nice to know that there's like a targeted coach out there that's available for help. So I encourage everybody to get to know Cheryl, visit her website, and we sure appreciate you being our guest today. You make it a charming day.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much.